A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Nerf Secrets Revealed Aftersought. And now, of course, for people out there who are wanting to go into the past with the Rivals lineup, look no further than the Kronos. This was not the first blaster, though, that Hasbro had released to the Rivals lineup, but yet this is, in fact, one of the type that has inspired a generation. This is the original Kronos from the Phantom Corps lineup, although there were several other variations of it. This eventually did make a release out onto the original Rivals lineup in the red and blue colors, but it also got itself a share of some Deadpool-related vibes to it. And in addition to that, we've been seeing some others here and there, with different color schemes. And aside from the fact that they do get some promotion from other franchises, as the Deadpool variant was pretty much around by the time Deadpool 2 came out to theaters, we were also seeing a huge amount of accessories made for this. But unfortunately, I don't have any of those, which probably is kind of a shame. But in particular, I will just say first off that the usage of its basic Magnus-like loading process of opening this hatch and then loading the rounds inside here, and with some other Rivals blasters that I talked about earlier, there's a little track on the inside that basically goes underneath the barrel, pretty much. So you could load up to 5 rounds in this, and I could say for sure that based on performance, there really is a lot to expect because, okay, now I'm out, so I guess that kind of adds up to that one. But basically speaking, the Kronos, basic as it is, just using a Maverick like slide on the back and then just that, along with its Magnus like breech pretty much, where you can load multiple HIR rounds in at the same time. Also, yeah, it's another pure example of a blaster that can be used even while the jam door is opened. It's not technically a jam door, it's just a hatch that basically protects the inside from dust and the like, but also provides as a way of closing the blaster up to make it look more flush and a bit more, I guess, correct upon its aesthetics. But in general, this hatch doesn't really serve any function at all. It has no lock or anything on it. It's just a little plastic piece on a hinge that can click into place. So, other than all that, let's just see how the usage of Invisibullets let's see how it works. Yeah, only 2 of those, and I made a 3rd squeeze right there. So basically speaking, the Kronos itself, okay, another example of a blaster that you could twirl if you wanted to, but unfortunately it would scrape against your thumb's knuckle. So that's kind of all I got to talk about based on the Kronos itself, and there are quite a bunch of other examples out there with white blasters, because after all, Phantom Corps is supposedly made for the usage of either choosing the red or blue team, but not within the color scheme of the blasters themselves, but through sets of lanyards. Yeah, color-colored lanyards would basically allow for you to find out which team you're going to be a part of, though of course with a lot of blasters in the Phantom Corps series, with all of them actually that I've bought so far, I've never kept any of the lanyards, so I'm basically just keeping them all white, with no adaptation of the red or blue, or nothing like that. So yeah, twirling's a little risky, and of course, it's somewhat bulky in size. It kind of reminds me of how the Strong Arm was... another blaster I dropped by mistake. Anyways, the size of it does kind of remind me of how the Strong Arm was like. It was somewhat larger in size compared to the Maverick back in the day. But as such, we've been getting a lot of strong arm based blasters since then, especially after 2013. And I suppose that the Kronos, while its size is similar to that, it does not function like that. It actually functions kind of like a Magnus, kind of like a Maverick with its slide for the most part, and based on how you can keep the jam door open, I'd say it's got a lot of others to be reminisced with. So I don't know in particular, but still, I'd say the Kronos does pretty well in its own right, but it's kind of basic pretty much. The Deimos did have a lot of flair in and of itself, despite the fact that, well, it was just this with a magazine on the bottom. So that's basically all I got to talk about the Kronos. Personal rating is, I don't know, 6.8 out of 10. Not too good out there, but that's kind of what happens when you get down to the bare basics. But if you want to see more, go down on my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.